Welcome into the sauce here on Warchant TV. This is Ira Schofel along with Kevin Bauer. This is episode number 4. At some point, I'm going to stop numbering them, Kevin. We're just going to
Mhm.
call it the sauce. I don't say this is number 276 of Seminole Headlines, or Jeff doesn't do that. But for me, the first 5, I'll do it. Anyway, we got a good show today, Kevin. You pretty fired up. We're doing our first listicle, our first list.
That's
Uh,
right. Love a good list. Who doesn't love a good list? I
the
mean, they're clicking on this because they love a good list.
That's
Come on.
why exactly. That's how we got him in. That's how we got him in. Yeah, so we're going to talk about our 5 biggest surprises from Florida State's season opening win over Alabama. I mean, the surprise was obviously just the fact that Florida State not only won, but won by 2 touchdowns. But within that, there were a lot of surprises. And when we talked about this, we talked about how do we want to define surprises? Do we want to go with like just general terms, like how physical they were, or how clean they played, or do we want to go with individual players? We decided to go with individual players. So I've got my list of 5 biggest surprise players. You've got your list of 5 biggest surprise players. We'll kind of see how it shakes out, and then maybe we'll come up with a consensus list when we're all done. Who should go first? You want to go with your number 5 first, or should I go with my number 5 first?
Let's do it. I'll start first.
All right, let's go.
I've got uh I've got our boy, Chroma.
Oh, all right.
And I'm gonna try to say his last name, and it's Usmain, right?
His first name.
His
You,
first name.
you
Sorry,
already
sorry, sorry.
said
His
you
first name.
already said
I've
his
got
last
I've
name.
got commas written down.
Yeah. No, you got it, man.
Usman, yeah.
Yeah, you got it.
Usman. And I'm gonna put him at 5 because I'm the most excited about him of any player I saw.
Yeah.
But I'm going to put him at 5 as my surprise because he was renowned as a recruit. He's an athletic guy. That's the biggest thing we've all known about him. But that's a different athleticism against a competent team on the other side. And I think he has potential to be an elite player. I don't throw that word around lightly. But that's more than just athleticism. But is that all the athleticism there? I mean, just a matter of strength and speed that's going to go on naturally. And then the other thing I wrote down is just like his graceful running.
Mm,
And nothing gets me more excited than a big old graceful man running into people and them moving backwards.
right.
So I'm really excited about the guy. He's probably the guy I'm most excited about on this team that I saw on Saturday. But surprise wise, give me number 5. I'm not too shocked by what I saw, but I really liked it.
Yeah, man, he's definitely gonna be the real deal. And it was funny during preseason in camp, every time people were asked about him, whether coaches or players, it seemed like universally every single one was just like, oh, he's different. Like that was their only explanation. Like that was their only description they could come up with is we don't have anybody else that looks like him and runs like him. And no, we got a glimpse of it in that game. I didn't have him on my list. I'm gonna go ahead and I'll be a spoiler. I don't have him on my top 5 because I just had super high expectations for him
Mhm.
from guys I know that cover high school sports or follow high school sports closely in Georgia, who saw him up close and personal. They built him up to me so much that I built him up in my own head so much that unless he ran for like 100 yards in that game, I probably wasn't going to be too surprised. Now I kind of do think he might run for 100 yards Saturday. I
Mhm.
think we'll see how much they play him and if they rotate guys. But Roy Dell Williams is out. But yeah, man, I think he's special. I'm with you. I mean, he's as exciting as anybody in that team because a lot of times when you have a freshman back that has shows some impressive skills early, maybe it's a guy that's elusive in space. But
Mhm.
for him, he doesn't need that. Like he doesn't need to be in space to make plays. He can make his own plays, which is pretty rare for a freshman. So
I, I know that I know they have the big numbers and all that, and they kind of look similar, but not too much. But what you just described with a bigger back getting the playing time because he has the ability to read is much more rare than the guy that has the speed and we got to get him on the field.
right.
A little bit like James Wilder. I mean,
Oh yeah.
that's who he reminds me of, especially just the way he dances and moves. A little bit bigger than James, so that's not upsetting to see that he's a bigger guy and that can throw a little more weight around. But a similar style runner. Let's see the production to come from it.
He's a big boy, no doubt, man. My number 5 was Ashlyn Barker,
Mhm.
safety, who played decent amount last year. He got in some games as a backup safety last year. Um, and I have always thought he had talent. I mean, physically, he looks the part. I mean, he's a guy that looks, when you see him in uniform, it's like, okay, that's what it's supposed to look like. You can see that on Sundays. Just the physical presence he has and the way he can run. But that Saturday was the first time I've seen him play. I was surprised they had him in the starting lineup when the depth chart was released on Monday. I did not expect him to necessarily be a starter. I thought he'd be in the rotation. And then once you saw him play, it's like, okay, that's why. The hit he had on Ryan Williams,
Right.
showed some things in coverage. I mean, I'm excited about him, and he's got an interesting backstory. He wasn't really recruited out of high school in Columbus, Georgia. Went to a junior college, not because he needed to go for school, but because he wanted to get recruited. So he went to a really good junior college, redshirted that year because the coaches, they were loaded at DB. So he redshirted, but Adam Fuller actually went. Well, actually, I think it was Justin Krause, one of the scouts for FSU, had heard about him. And then Adam Fuller went and watched him at practice and was like, yes, we'll offer you, even though he really hadn't played a snap of junior college football. And 3 years later, I think it's starting to pay off.
Sure. Yeah. He definitely doesn't like bubble screens. He took that one away.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a
Yeah, he's
physical
physical.
kid. Yeah.
Physical. He was on my list that got whittled down, but that was the one marker I had for him was just the physicality.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely him. No question. You want me to give four or you want to go to your four?
Let's flip it around. What you
All
got for
right.
four?
My number four was a guy named Mandrell Desir, one of the Desir twins. I'm breaking them up. I'm not going with the Desir twins at number four.
I like that.
I'm going with Mandrell Desir. And number 93, I thought he was impressive. And the coaches have been talking him up all since they got here in January. He and his brother, former stars at Miami Norland, and they weren't the highest recruited defensive lineman. In fact, Florida State didn't even offer him until late in the process. They were committed to UCF. Florida State came in late, flipped them, and they're. I mean, I just thought both of them looked pretty good, but I thought Mandrell Desir, even though they've been talking him up so much, kind of like you with Chroma, you knew he was going to be good, but when you saw it, it kind of took you to a different level. That's how I was with Mandrell Desir. I mean, the physicality, the way he went at Caden Proctor, I just was real impressed.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I didn't put them on my list, either one of them, and I would have had to separate them like you. I can't be grouping two men together. What are we doing? So I didn't put them on my list, but watching film, they weren't moved back. They were not moved back often.
Right.
And I do think, yeah, 93 is your guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, he did stand out a little more, but this is off of memory. So
Yeah.
they both seemed to play well and they weren't moved at all, and that's a pretty big deal for a freshman.
Who's your four?
For four, I've got Earl Little, and I've
All
got
right.
him at four. And why I'm surprised, if you can call it surprised, I guess what I'm pleasantly surprised by was his ability in that role, the role that he is in now as that finisher, as that extra linebacker when all the linebackers are done is perfect for him. And we knew he was going to be talented when he came over from Bama, but he, I know there were injuries last year, but the way he was playing or the way he played Saturday was not what I expected after seeing last year. Um, and just the hits, the physicality on the hits, and clean tackles the way that you're supposed to hit and not at risk for penalty or injury. So, I mean, I think he was extremely impressive Saturday, and I'm really excited to see him continue in this defense.
Yeah, no, he's a good pick, and I might have him somewhere in my list, so I'm not gonna expound upon what you said. But yeah, no,
Copy.
he's an impressive dude, no question about it. And I don't know that I would say no risk of penalties because talking to some people on the staff, that is a concern they have because he's one of those guys, man. It is pegged to 10, so he's got to try to rein it in a little bit because he is. He's redlining when he's out
Yes.
on the football field. So, all right, who's your number three?
Number three, I'm going with our man Jalen Lucas,
All right.
and I'm going with what I was shocked by was how much we did use him, and I think that came from how much we used him effectively in motion is what I'm trying to say. Is we moved him in motion or we got him the ball on a lot of plays, and that's where everyone's eyes seemingly were. So a lot of the big runs and counters off of those motions, huge. And then specifically about him and his play, I thought the I don't know if enough credit goes to the pass on the sideline that he catches in full speed running and then continues on. I mean, we all know he can run. It was kind of shocking that he got caught there, but the way that you can catch that ball in stride and continue, it kind of goes back to what we talked about with Deuce and body control. He's such a smaller guy, but the ability to continue to run as fast as you can and also catch the ball with soft hands and go on. And I thought he showed that in other plays as well, just good hands as well as that speed.
Yeah, and the stuff with the jet sweeps is awesome. And I think the first one where Tommy basically does the just kind of like the kind of just catches it and just pops it to
The
him.
old Geno Smith.
Yes, those that was pretty sweet, man. There's a couple times where I was like, does he have it? Does he not have it? And I'm sure
Right.
the defensive players are doing the same exact thing. And Gus actually did an interview with David Pollock on his podcast. I don't know if you've seen it, but he talked about basically his game plan was doing things to get Alabama on their heels early to kind of get them second guessing things and then just going right at them. Like that was the plan,
Gotcha.
and it clearly worked. I mean, once they kind of got Alabama being a little bit hesitant, now you start coming straight at them, and they can't. They're having a hard time with things that maybe normally they're triggering on. So I thought they had a great game
Sure.
plan, and Jalen Lucas, yeah, no question, was a big part of it. My number three, similar kind of guy, similar kind of talent, Makai Danzy.
Mm.
Man, I didn't have Lucas on my list because I did expect a lot out of him. It's weird, his last year was strange because they I thought they were going to make him a big part of the offense. They didn't in the Georgia Tech game. Norvell seems like he kind of forgot about him. My theory is it was more on David Johnson, the running backs coach. I think he was trying to get Cam Davis some touches and Roy Dell, and they kind of like lost track of Jalen Lucas last year. Well, this year Gus Malzahn's not going to do that. And Makai Danzy, and then Jalen also got hurt like in the second or third game, so that kind of ruined his whole season. Makai Danzy surprised me more because we know about the speed; he's got world class speed, but I didn't know he would break tackles. That was the one thing that when the knock on him as a football player was that so many of his yards. I mean, he ran for a ton of yards in high school at Florida High, but it was usually getting the ball out in space and just running by everybody. I mean, he's not a guy that broke a lot of tackles in high school. So is he going to be able to do it here? And then a couple times he got a couple carries last year, didn't show that. But I thought, man, that was impressive for him to
Yes.
not just be that fast and do what he can do, but then also not just go down at the first hint of contact, which sometimes those track guys do. I thought that was pretty special.
Totally. I thought what he did was incredible. Past the speed, you expect the speed. You expecting him to be fast, but it was the both of those runs he was physical on and broke a tackle, moved forward, and those aren't any. That's Alabama playing defense. We can
Right.
say they might not be as what they thought they were, number eight, but I mean that's those are big boys that are making money to play football right now against him, and he's not going down. And the only thing I would say about Dansby too is in a film review I was watching, they compared him to Anthony Schwartz. I don't know if you remember him playing at Auburn, but it was with Gus Malzahn, and he was much smaller than him, but it was that same type of guy that was a freak speed. And then also will surprise you with he's running so fast that he's bouncing off guys. So at least it's a nice spot for me to know that Malzahn has those pieces, but we know Malzahn is going to figure out what he needs to do with the best players.
Yeah, no question. So that was, did you already do three or are
It's
you
going
on?
to be two to you, I think, or no, it would be me.
Did
Yeah, I
you do?
did Jalen
Okay,
for
so yeah,
my
it's
number
two.
three.
So it's two to me. I'm gonna go with Luke Pettibone,
Hmm.
which is kind of a weird because he's a fifth, 6 year senior. He's played a ton of college football. We knew he was going to be the starting center when they got him out of the portal. He started the last couple of years and was a team captain at Wake Forest. So it shouldn't be too surprising. But what surprised me was he's how physical he was. Like I knew he was going to be cerebral. Like that's what they've all talked about. since he came here. His grandfather was a defense coordinator in the NFL. His dad played football. His brother played football. I mean, they're a football family as much as anybody. So I knew the intelligence was there, and then we heard so much about that. But I mean, he knocked some guys back. I mean, he played physical. I just was blown away. He reminded me of Brian Stork to some degree, which is, I mean, super high praise. So,
Correct.
yeah, man, I knew he was going to be really good, but he really surprised me how good he was.
I'm not going to reply about Luke Pettibon because he's my number two.
Oh, okay.
Got him as well. But I will look at my notes here and see what I said. I would just piggyback on everything you said. It would be strength, which is just power in general. What I saw of the offensive line, he stuck out. I kept looking at him. I kept finding that the center was standing still and or moving the guy backwards in front of him. And to I don't know everyone watching how much you know, but a center that blocks a guy one on one is a huge advantage to any football team trying to move the ball because
Yeah, I
it's
mean, I think
not that often.
yeah, generally, if you've got a center that can hold the ground, not because I mean it's just hard, but
Right.
to be snapping the ball while this dude's Kendall Briles used to say when if the defensive tackle is breathing snot bubbles at you.
Yeah.
It's not fun. And so yeah, man, if you can just hold your own or at least hang in there long enough till the guard can help you or whatever. But to be able to actually like move guys, that's different.
Right.
Yeah, man, it was
And
pretty cool.
this I was kind of when you were saying that we expected him to come in, we knew he was going to be cerebral. I wonder how much comes into play with his physical that he showed this weekend. How much comes into play with better guys around him? Because I'm going to imagine that the offensive line we have
Yeah,
right now is a better offensive line that he had at Wake Forest as a team.
right.
So his ability to say, "Oh, I can go do this," where maybe we didn't see that as much at Wake Forest, and he's able to do it and show it or
That's a
the
good
or the
idea.
coaching staff recognize it as well. Yeah,
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And yeah, I mean, that was one of the cool things listening to, Gus and Herb Hand talk this week. I think I asked Herb Hand a question about, um, well, I may have asked about Malzahn, but it applies to the offensive line too. Of okay, once you find out what the players have, like what skills they have, what their talents are, how many doors does that open up? Like when you realize a guy like him, going back to Brian Stork, I just remember how he was able to deliver accurate snaps, deliver a blow to the first guy at the line of scrimmage, then climb to the second level, track down a linebacker in space, and bury that guy. It's
blowing
like that.
snot bubbles the whole way.
Blowing snot bubbles. Yeah. I mean, like that, when once you know that a guy can do that, well, now uh, it's, it opens up so many things. Like, oh, you can do that? Okay. Well, now I can call this. And so, yeah, man, I think Pettibone's going to be huge. I think there's no question. Gus Malzahn loves him. He's been raving about him since the spring, and I think we got a sense why. So
Okay,
you up to number one?
number one.
Number one with a
I
bullet.
don't know. I don't want to call it the shot, but I feel like you have the same number one as me, but maybe not. I'm going to go with Justin Cryer, number 28 linebacker. And I'm going to say because surprising because I think he looks amazing. And I want to talk about looks too much of these college kids, but man, he looks good running around trying to tackle people.
Right.
He looks faster than I expected him to look, and he's moving forward and he's pushing people backwards. Um, he's never going to be your best coverage linebacker, but he plays well considering what he does in running forward and stopping the run. And I think he's only helped out just like every other linebacker ever, up and including Ray Lewis, by a great defensive line in front of them. So I was really impressed with him. I'm really excited to see him grow, and just the linebacker room in general looked like nothing we've seen in a while outside of a blip on a year of 13 wins. But
Right.
I'm really excited about Justin Cryer.
No, that's a good one. He's not my number one, but he was on my list. He got honorable mention. He's one of my
Copper.
honorable mention guys. But not because he wasn't. I was super impressed by him. He might have been the first or second name I wrote down, but then I ended up just taking my little metric I came up with in my mind. I ended up putting him a little bit lower. But yeah, man, he's fun to watch for the reasons you said, and I also think like he's got so much, I think, ahead of him. Like I think he's gonna
Mhm.
get better and better and better. I think he's gonna be one of those guys that probably stays in college the whole time, and just by the time he's done, you're gonna be like, man, what a career this guy had. And I agree 100% about the linebackers in general. In fact, one of the other honorable mentions I have is Blake Nicholson.
Mhm.
He didn't make my list, but he certainly could have because I've never seen him play like that before. When he got in there, he wasn't a starter, but when he got in there, he was super impressive. I actually went with somebody else on your list at number one. And
Mhm.
it's weird, probably a little bit because he was expected to be good and they've been hyping him up. But I went with Earl Little at number
Mhm.
one. I had heard so many good things about him, and I don't know if it's because of last year just kind of being uh, jaded by things we heard about players last year and that not
Mhm.
materializing. But I just until I saw it, I wasn't 100% sure. But man, I was blown away. Um, as you mentioned, I mean, just he's hitting the quote. I don't know if you saw the quote from Tony White this week. He said when he hits people, he's trying to take their souls. It's like yeah, that's what you want. That's a
Mhm.
quality you want, right? Uh,
Correct.
yeah. So that was just impressive, and I think he's rubbing. We can try to figure out all the reasons why this team is more physical this year, and was it they did a better job of selecting guys? Is it the way they practice and all these things? But I think it starts with guys like that. Like when you've got a
Mhm.
couple guys like that, I just think it changes everybody else. And I mean, it's you just hope he doesn't knock, get like you said, get in trouble for his kinds of hits and lose playing time or hurt himself because he's not a huge dude.
Right.
Um, but no, I mean, he's number one on my list.
I'm in big agreement here on him rubbing off on other players and that it's just that leadership. I don't know what he's like in the locker room as far as vocally, but when your best player on a side of the ball is physical, it's real hard for you not to want to be physical.
Right.
And it's really easy for you to get seen when you're not being as physical as you can be seen because everyone else is going to be doing it around you.
Right.
I think and then another thing you said, jaded by last year. I think that's a great way of putting it for Little. For me, I think my shock comes from he was a part of those guys from that previous year that came in that didn't materialize like we thought. And then now we have this new wave and we're hopeful for them. And it's just sky's the limit. Where before we're like, all right, well, they were a part of them. So hopefully they can do something. And then he's turned out. I mean, not that I was sitting there not thinking he was going to play this year, but
Yeah.
this role it obviously suits him.
What'd you think of the red rum on the tape or on his nose?
I think anytime you can talk about death in a subtle way and you're playing football, that's what you want to do for
I,
sure.
yeah,
What were your thoughts on it?
I'm
You were
just
did you give him a
traumatized. I saw The Shining in the movie theaters. This is how old I am. I was
okay?
7 years old, 8 years old, maybe 8 or 9, maybe when The Shining came out. And so I saw that, man, I just traumatized by that movie. I don't know why. I don't know why it was in the 70s and early 80s that parents and their or your siblings were allowed to take you to movies like The Shining and some of the other movies my brother took me to. But man, it was not good. It was not good for 8 or 9 year old
I
Ira.
I have a theory.
All right.
You tell me if this is right. Is it because your parents and other parents didn't know that that was what was going on in those theaters?
Oh,
The same
that's
way that parents are like, you're watching that on your phone,
yeah, yeah.
that kind of thing, where it's
That's
like
right.
it hasn't become dangerous enough yet. Where I definitely was from the school of, what's that movie rated? No, you're not allowed to see that one. Sorry,
Yeah,
mom,
well,
but it's
and that
true.
was the thing. And we were latchkey kids, and so we would just go to the theater
Right.
and go see what we wanted. Yeah, my mom or my dad, they weren't checking in, and so yeah. Anyway, so that's
Well, they
I was
didn't
a little
get you on the cell phone either.
yeah, I was a little triggered by the red rum. But I'm all for it,
Gotcha.
man. Yeah, he let them know they knew exactly what he was there for. And listen, man, that had to be so cool for him because, like you said, he
Mhm.
was one of those five guys from Alabama that came over. None of them really hit last year. Three of them are gone now. The only ones left are him and Roydell Williams. And you know, and he didn't do much when he was at Alabama. And
Right.
so for him to make his presence felt, I'm sure, man, that had to be an incredible night for Earl Little. And now he knows he's number one on my list. So like
Right.
best week ever. So should we try to combine our two and come up with our official the sauce most
Yeah,
surprising five? How
absolutely.
I don't know how we do this. So
I
so
think
who?
we go Earl Little one because we know he's on both of our
Okay,
lists.
all right,
And I can wiggle with Earl Little
all
on
right.
moving him up a spot or two, right?
You're not fighting
Then
me
we
on
go
that one.
Pettibone at two, because how could
Yeah,
we not? We
yeah,
both have him at two.
yeah.
And then our other options, we've got
You
Roma,
the last
Lucas,
yeah
and Crier,
the last three were totally different. So you have Crier, Lucas, and who's the other one?
Chroma.
And Chroma.
And then you've got who?
Mandrell, Danzy, and Ashlyn Barker. But on my, I did have Crier on my honorable mention, so he's in. So he's three. So we got Earl one, Pettibone two,
I
Crier
want to
three.
I want to just throw something out there. Let's
All right.
put Danzy at three
Really?
because I'll be honest, I don't know why he's not on my list. Because as far
Okay.
as surprised, that's a misnomer. That's a misstep on me for not putting him on there.
All right.
Let's put him at three, Crier at four,
That's big. You're a big
and
man.
then
You're a big man, Kevin. That's
it's
why.
not all about you. You know, it's just giving in to what I know to be true. I don't know why I didn't say Danzy. I mean, he's what he did was absolutely shocking because of what we talked about, the
Right.
physicality.
Okay.
So then
Absolutely.
number five, where are we going? What do you think?
Who are your other two?
What would I would have left is Chroma and Lucas.
I will give you Chroma. I'm not giving you Lucas because I knew it. I just knew it. I was
You
convinced.
just felt it,
Chroma did surprise me. I mean, what I didn't
right?
know, I'd heard so many good things about him, so I expected a lot. What did surprise me about it, and this is why I'm gladly put him in number five, is the jump cuts. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, yeah,
And then
yeah,
I didn't know he
yeah,
was
yeah.
bringing that to the party. And
You
then,
had a little Le'Veon Bell shaking him.
yeah.
Yeah,
And then the just to be completely unfazed by the fact that this is his first college football game and he's playing Alabama. And it's like, yeah, man, give me the ball. That, yeah,
right.
he should have been my five. He should have been my five. In fact, if you want to move him to four and drop Crier to five, I wouldn't fight you on that. I'll let you
I
decide.
think if we make it official, let's make it official. We got Earl Little
Earl
at
Little,
one,
Pettibone,
uh, Pettibone. Then we
Danzy.
got Danzy at three. We'll put Chroma at four
All right.
and Crier at five. And then just to cap off, you know, with our boy Earl Little, since he got the number one spot, I just want to compliment one thing, and it's kind of weird, but I'm going to say it. That guy's eyes that night were telling me that he was going to destroy. He told his eyes said red rum underneath and inside of him. It was crazy. It wasn't this because no one will ever have the eyes of this moment. But it was Lamarcus Joyner
Oh
after the
man.
Clemson pick when
Yeah.
ESPN caught him and he was looking. It was that pretty much the whole night. But I'll hold out that Joyner might have the spot.
The other best eyes of all time is might be a little before your time. It's definitely a lot before your time. It's just whether or not you've seen the replays. But when Dexter Carter puts the flag on Miami linebacker Bernard Clark's head
Gotcha.
after the penalty, and he walks over and puts the and he turns around, and dude, his eyes were just like, "I'm gonna murder you."
Yes.
Uh, yeah, no, Earl's got him. By the way, real quick,
Mhm.
I can't not. We've talked so much about Earl Little. I can't not share this just because I'm my North Miami senior high pride.
Okay.
His dad played high school football where I went to high school, North Miami Senior High. He was a couple years behind me, and when I went home, I'd heard a lot about him. He ended up going to play for Miami and then in the NFL for a long time. But I'd heard so much about him as a DB, and I came home for Thanksgiving, I guess, and it was like a high school playoff game. North Miami was not usually really good, but they're in the playoffs, and their defense was awesome. Their defense was phenomenal, but they couldn't score. So they in the playoff game they put him at receiver. He was the original Travis Hunter,
Hmm.
and he catches a touchdown pass, and I think he caught the 2 point conversion too to win the game. It's just like I don't even know if he ever practiced with receiver, but they're just like, hey man, go out
We
there, we're gonna
need
throw
you.
you the football. So when Earl Little Jr. was being recruited, I really kind of wanted him to come to Florida State. He ended up going to Alabama, of course, and now he's here, and he's
So you knew his dad had the eyes, and you're like, we need to get those eyes here in Tallahassee.
I think his dad was a little different. I think his dad wasn't the thumper. I think his dad was more of a leaper, dynamic athlete guy. I
Gotcha,
don't think he
gotcha.
was quite of, but yeah, man, it's awesome. It's cool, and yeah, I think he is. Maybe just get rid of the red rum. I just can't do it. I can't do it, man.
That feels awfully personal, Ira. It feels awfully personal. You
It
know?
definitely does. The girls in the girls in the hallway. I mean, Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
I mean, that movie. I love
You're
my
still
brother.
scarred.
I love my brother, but yeah, we didn't need to do that. All right, man. You feel good about our list? I feel really good about our list. I think we
I
came up
love
with a
it.
good
I
one.
think we did a good job. I think we did a clean cut there at the end. We said, "Hey, I'll give you this, you give me that. Let's go." We got a top five, and I feel better about our top five than my top five. I'll tell you that.
Same here. Same here.
Excellent.
We all we all learned here. We all learned something here tonight. All right, man. Well, we're gonna let you run, and we will be back with the sauce again next week. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please like it, subscribe. You guys have been watching it. It's been really cool. I think over 5,000 people watched the one last week, which is great. And hopefully, if you keep liking it, we'll keep doing it, and then they'll get better and better. And we'll all remember how it all started back with episode one when I stopped counting them. We'll
Hmm.
all remember where we were.
Maybe,
Hey,
yeah.
you got.
Maybe we stop. Maybe we stop counting episodes to start through our first list episode.
Oh, all right. Okay. Now we got a
So we're
list.
good. But if you count again, I'll definitely hold it against you.
Sounds good. Sounds good. All right, dude. Enjoyed it. We'll talk to you next time.
All right, later.